Imagine a town where dying is against the law, not discouraged, literally banned. If you feel death coming, they send you away before your last breath. Sounds like something from a horror novel, right? But this place is very real, and its law has existed for over 70 years. This is Longyearbyen, the world's northernmost town with permanent residents, and one of the strangest legal codes on Earth. People call it the town that banned death. But the real reason behind that law is far darker and far more scientific than anyone expects. Let's travel north. 800 miles beyond mainland Norway, where temperatures can kill a human faster than you can charge your phone. To understand why death itself was outlawed here, we need to go back to 1918, the year the world stopped breathing. In 1918, when the Spanish flu ravaged the planet, it didn't spare this tiny Arctic outpost either. Dozens fell ill, and many never recovered. But here's where it gets strange. When the town tried to bury their dead, they discovered something shocking decades later. The bodies never decomposed. Longyearbyen's ground stays frozen solid even in summer. No bacteria can survive there. So, when researchers exhumed a few graves years later, they found the victims' bodies almost perfectly preserved. Skin, clothing, even lungs still intact. They realized the flu virus itself, dormant but intact, was still frozen inside those lungs. One wrong move could have reawakened one of the deadliest plagues in human history. Fearing another outbreak, officials made a decision no one else ever dared to make. From that day forward, no one would ever be buried in Longyearbyen again. They didn't outlaw dying. They outlawed staying dead there. If someone becomes terminally ill today, they're flown 600 miles away to die somewhere warmer. It's not cruelty, it's preservation. Longyearbyen became the only place on Earth where hospitals have no morgues and cemeteries have no new graves. Even animals aren't allowed to die naturally there. Their bodies are shipped away before nature freezes them forever. Locals don't see it as morbid, they see it as respect. In a town where the dead never decay, you must send them somewhere they can rest. Today, Longyearbyen looks peaceful. Cozy houses painted bright colors, snowmobiles parked outside, kids playing in the snow. But beneath that cheerful surface, everyone knows the rule. No one dies here. There's no hospital for dying, only a clinic that stabilizes you long enough to fly south. Locals joke it's the world's coldest waiting room. When illness strikes, a small plane is called immediately. The dying are flown to Tromsø, Norway, a 600-mile journey away, so they can pass in warmer ground. Some outsiders find that cruel, but for locals it's tradition, a quiet deal with nature. You don't fight the permafrost, you respect it. The rule is enforced without argument. If doctors believe you won't recover, you're taken south, gently, respectfully, without ceremony. And what about tourists? Every year, thousands come just to see the place where death is illegal. They take selfies in front of the graveyard, joke about cheating death, and then return home with stories that sound made up. But the people who live here, they don't joke. They know death is always watching, frozen, waiting. One resident told reporters, "It's not scary. It's peace. The dead are still with us and just frozen in time." At night, when the northern lights ripple over the town, some swear they see shadows moving across the old graveyard. Not ghosts, just memories frozen in light. In Longyearbyen, death doesn't end life. It pauses it. forever locked in the cold. Over the years, scientists returned to study long-year Bayern's frozen graves. They weren't just curious about the flu. They were fascinated by what perfect cold can do to time itself. Inside those preserved lungs, they found traces of viruses still intact, silent, waiting like history frozen mid-scream. Some believe this town holds the key to medical miracles. Others say it's a ticking biological time capsule. Locals don't talk about it much. They simply live their lives, eat, laugh, work, knowing their home sits on a frozen archive of humanity. Some visitors claim the air feels different there. Thinner, colder, like every breath remembers those who came before. When asked what they fear most, locals don't say death, they fear decay, because in long-year Bayern, decay never comes. Not for the dead, not for the stories. Everything simply stops. Even the town's graveyard still stands untouched. The names are still there, faces from a century ago, watching over a place where death has no power. So the next time you hear someone say nothing lasts forever, tell them about the town that proved them wrong.